WNTM 99.5 FM, The Jag. You can also find the show in the iHeartRadio app and also on the News Radio 710 WNTM Facebook page, live video. Today there's something to look at. We don't have distinguished young women of America in here today. Johnny Gwynn of johnnygwynn.com is here today. These distinguished young women, did you hear any of them? I know you were in a media fast, but I had a chance to interview the distinguished young women, numerous of the last couple of weeks. One of the young ladies that was in on the show won the oyster eating contest, the Georgia Distinguished Young Woman.
Yeah, I heard yesterday on the show that she ate 57 oysters is what I heard.
Yes,
That's
indeed.
impressive.
Yes, indeed. So they're not here today. They're not here today, but if you, the local person that wants to go meet them, they're having community night tonight at the Civic Center, so you can go and get autographs. And that is tonight at the Mobile Civic Center, according to what they told me when they were here. Now, Donald Trump has tweeted several times this morning. He stopped tweeting about an hour ago, but a couple of tweets where he took on the New York Times and what he called the fake news media. So the president's Twitter feed is a lot like it was yesterday. I will continue to watch it for you just in case something interesting comes up from the president. On the local level, I saw the news yesterday that the OWA announcement is Friday. So if you're curious about when the amusement park is going to open in Baldwin County, when will it open? What will it cost to go? They're going to make the big announcement Friday there. Now, are you an amusement park person?
Oh, I love it. I love roller coasters. Oh, love them.
Even as an adult with a job?
Yeah, love them. Love them. It's a great, it's a nice 2 minutes of pure excitement.
So you as an adult, this is something you're going to want to go ride, this big roller coaster.
I've seen pictures. I haven't seen the whole thing yet, but I will definitely go ride the roller coaster, the local roller coaster, which we've never had.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, are you the type of person that would travel to roller coasters? Because there are some roller coaster lovers that
Yes.
go all over the country to ride roller coasters.
I would if I had the time, but I tend to go to conferences and things like that, and I mix a lot of business with pleasure.
All right, what's the best one you've ever been on?
Let's see here. Best one. There's one called the Loch Ness Monster up in Virginia. That is at the Williamsburg, Virginia one up there, and it is a 3-barrel roll in a roll. It's a 4G push, meaning when you hit that third barrel roll, supposedly you have 4 Gs against you at that moment, and that's pretty dang. It's a lot of pressure. It's pretty cool.
So you like that?
I love it.
All right. So are you going to be one of the people that goes to this roller coaster?
Yeah, I won't stand in line for 3 hours to do it, but I'll definitely go at some point.
Okay. So the big announcement is Friday for that, and that's really going to be just a big boom there in Foley. All right, more to come. Additional things to get to as we continue on the Uncle Henry Show.
Time Saver Traffic from the Main Street Flooring and Design Traffic Center.
We have picked up an accident in Pensacola now. This is Highway 29 and Old Kimstrand Road, but for the most part, it's a quiet morning. We've had no big Bayway problems despite the added volume now over the last several minutes as you travel between the Eastern Shore and the Wallace Tunnel. I-10 Escambia Bay Bridge in Pensacola moving along nicely as well. With Time Saver Traffic, I'm Ray Romero.
This report is brought to you by the Foundation for a Better Life.
When Marlon Shirley was 5, he lost his foot. Today, as the world's fastest amputee, he runs the 100 meters in less time than it takes to listen to this. Overcoming. Pass it on. From the Foundation for a Better Life.
Gulf Coast weather from Local 15 and the Kemco Metal Buildings Weather Center.
Good morning. It's shaping up to be a wet Wednesday, not necessarily before noon, but during the afternoon. There is a high chance of showers and storms. Mostly cloudy. Today's high 86. A few showers will linger into tonight as we fall down to 72. Storms are likely on Thursday with a high in the low 80s. I'm Jake Dunn for Local 15 News and this iHeart radio station.
This report is brought to you by the Foundation for a Better Life.
Would you be mine? Could you be mine? Won't you be my neighbor?
Hi, neighbor.
Mr. Rogers passed along friendship, hoping we would too. Friendship. Pass it on. From the Foundation for a Better Life at values.com.
This morning at 9, ask the expert. Then Rush at 11. Right now, it's Uncle Henry on News Radio 710 WNTM.
Uncle Henry Show. Thank you for listening to the Uncle Henry Show here on News Radio 710 WNTM 99.5 FM The Jag. Johnny Gwynn is here of johnnygwynn.com. Later in the hour, we'll reference his email again, the Glorious Five that he sends out every week. Just want to mention that in national news, I guess national news may calm down a little bit since we've learned that the healthcare vote is not going to happen before the Independence Day break for the senators and congressmen. So that's on hold. The healthcare vote is on hold, and they'll pick that up when they get back from the break, whenever that is. So maybe things will calm down a little bit in Washington. But it's been, the rhetoric has been as hot as it's ever been, with more people this week claiming that the health care legislation was going to kill people. Not just one or two lawmakers, but numerous lawmakers coming out saying that the health care legislation might kill you. And then I think Nancy Pelosi yesterday said that it was ungodly. So every bad thing you can say about something is being said about it. And meanwhile, we heard from Joe Gomez earlier this morning that there is talk that behind the scenes, some senators are being promised pork in exchange for their vote. That sounds kind of swampy to me. But you've heard of draining the swamp? Sounds kind of swampy. Of course, it's as old as probably the first legislative bodies ever created had their version of promising somebody pork for a vote.
I think it's the Roman Senate had a problem with that, right?
So this is nothing new there, and probably will be, as long as the country exists, there'll be something like that going on. I just wonder, you go home for break, if you're a senator, and you find out that one of your senator buddies is getting pork for his state. Do you think over the break that maybe you need to maybe pull your vote away from this so that you might be able to get pork for your state? Because the other person's getting pork for their state. Am I looking at this too simply?
It's a slippery slope. All those earmarked weird things on the back of, to read one of those awful bills, read the back of it, all that crazy stuff they add to it is awful.
We need a bridge.
To nowhere.
Why can't Senator, we have Shelby and who knows who will be there. Maybe they could go and say, look, this health care thing, if you would just put the bridge on page 1092, then we'll vote for the health care. And maybe this type of stuff is going on. But I wonder, setting it after the 4th of July, and now some people are getting pork, maybe there may be a lot more votes that are in jeopardy just because they want some pork.
It's such a slippery slope. I think the system is so broken, and the healthcare thing is, maybe that bill is so bad there's no fixing it at all. I mean, that's I don't know. I mean, I'm not smart enough to understand these complex issues. I really am not.
Well, the issue is complex, but the bills are, even on a simple issue, the bills are complicated.
Yeah,
written almost so you can't understand it.
I think they do it on purpose. I think they totally do it on purpose for lack of transparency.
Well, look, I may email our senators to see if we can get the bridge somewhere in there in exchange for their votes. Why not? All right, more in a moment. Uncle Henry Show. This is Uncle Henry. I'm here with Ed Ahrens of McNeil Ahrens Financial Group. Ed, what's the difference between a managed account and a mutual fund?
Uncle Henry, in a mutual fund, people come together and buy units in the fund, and the money that goes into the fund is then reinvested in stocks and bonds and so forth by the fund manager. You actually own units in the mutual fund, not shares of stock or anything like that. We like the approach where we use a managed account where you actually own the bonds and stocks and whatever is invested.
For over 90 years, the professionals at McNeil Aaron's Lambert have been helping their clients with their personal estate and retirement planning. Give them a call at 666-5000. That's 666-5000, or visit the website malfinancial.com. Ed and Virginia are investment advisor representatives with AE Wealth Management. Investment advisory services offered through AE Wealth Management, which is an SEC-registered investment advisor. Hey, this is Uncle Henry. I want to tell you about a dentist I found in Mobile named H. Radcliffe Brown, Jr. When I moved back to town, I asked people if they could recommend a dentist, and they recommended Radcliffe Brown. I had a cracked tooth. I needed a crown on it. I went to see Dr. Brown at his office, 1501 University Boulevard, and he had just remodeled with state-of-the-art technology. So he... Hey, we're here on Facebook. We're still in a radio break. Ariel, I'm thinking that maybe right after the Daily Reagan at 6:50, we can do a Dear Ariel. You're up for that? Okay, very good. So we will do a Dear Ariel later in the hour for the listener, and it's some of the letters today are different than. I'm glad. There are some topics we haven't covered yet that we'll be covering with Ariel with the Dear Abby thing. All right, let's see. Coming up when we go back on radio, we'll get back into Johnny Gwynn's weekly email. Let's see, is there anything else I haven't mentioned on the program? I've got a list of things. Of course, one of my favorite things is hard to mention because it's just putting a laser gun on an Apache helicopter. I'm glad our military is moving forward with this. The article I read says that there are lots of things to work out, like compensating for the movement of the helicopter, aiming while you're moving around in a helicopter. You don't want to hit the wrong thing when you're using a laser, or really any weapon.
I'm curious to see what this laser does. Does it burn a hole in it? How powerful is this thing? I really want to see it fired off at something.
Let's see. They're saying, the article I've found on this is that we're more likely to see lasers work aboard ships than you are on helicopters.
You're stationary. It's right. A more stationary position. Yeah, that makes sense.
Right. So they're thinking that this weapon could be used to take out electrical generators that power enemies' command posts, radio towers, small vehicles, or drones. If your enemy is using drones, that you could shoot drones out of the air with it.
So as I understand in my little bit of knowledge of physics,
here we go with physics.
When you shoot a laser, it will go to infinity until something stops it. So if you miss, that thing keeps going until it hits something.
Okay.
Like a bullet, a projectile will die down eventually, right? In air, if you shoot it up, it will fall with velocity.
Right. We've had stories about birds being traumatized in Mobile by New Year's Eve firearms.
Shooting in the air.
Yes.
But supposedly a laser keeps going until it hits something, as I understand that correctly, but I could be totally wrong.
Okay. I'm not smart enough to understand
me either.
Anything like that. Let's see, what else? I was reading that they've also got something there that they want to put on the helicopter. It's a microwave weapon that hurts people. It stops people, but doesn't kill them.
It makes them hot. Yeah, I've heard about that as well.
So they could, if there's some kind of a battle or even some disturbance, that you could fly over the disturbance or the battle and then not kill people, but stun them.
Yeah.
Which, well, wait, we're about to go back to radio. We'll have to pick up on this. Maybe never. Uncle Henry Show, thank you for listening to the Uncle Henry Show or watching it on Facebook. Johnny Gwynn of JohnnyGwynn.com is here. Later in the hour, we'll have a Dear Ariel for you after the Daily Reagan. In a moment, we'll return for the people that just tuned in, we'll share with you, in case you haven't already found the progressive liberal wrestler, we'll get back to him. Now, Johnny Gwynn sends out an email every week from JohnnyGwynn.com, his Glorious Five. Is there another item from your email you'd like to share with people?
Yeah, I had an honorable mention on this one, so I actually have a sixth thing I've added on my blog. And my friend JB, Jared Boyd, he's been on this show. Him and his friend, co-worker, Haley Lawrence, they went on how great is this? A job that goes on a road trip across the state to seek out Alabama's best steakhouse.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so they went all over the state. They went to Wetumpka. They've been outside of Birmingham, and it's a great article about some out-of-the-way places and some places that are easily found that have the best steak in the state. And what they all say is the food was all great every place they went, because it was a reader's poll picked the 7 they went to.
Right.
So they're all highly recommended places. But what they said was, what JB and Haley wrote was that what really separated everybody was how much community involvement these steakhouses had with making the patrons feel a part of the city. And it's a tourist attraction for the city. It's something that's a sense of pride for these communities, which goes back to malls going out of business, things we're talking about, but these local niche places that have an owner or a staff that really fits the community, you build this engagement and community activity.
All right, so the article is about so where do they say you should go have steak?
You know, I have to pull it up, but let me see here. The one I liked the most was in Oakman, Alabama, outside of Birmingham.
Okay.
And there's a picture of going back to wrestling. Ric Flair did a photo shoot there in the 80s. So I'm going to pull it up real quick. Sorry about this. It's
all right,
not great radio, but let's see here. Go to the thing. It's AL.com. And let's see. The one that I like, the most interested in, is called Bullpen Steakhouse in Oakman, Alabama.
Bullpen Steakhouse.
Mm-hmm. And then the one that was their favorite is, real quick, sorry. It's Big Mike's Steakhouse in Thomasville, Alabama. So they went to some really out-of-the-way places.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's that, and people can find that at al.com.
al.com.
They can also
Best Steakhouse.
And they can find it through your email from JohnnyGwynn.com. All right. Now, one of the things that Johnny is going to include on his email next week was a submission from Scotty White of ScottyWhite.com. You may have already heard about this. I had not heard about it until Scotty White started sending it out. And it's a wrestler that wrestles in Kentucky, Appalachian Mountain Wrestling. And you explained he's set up as the bad guy.
He's what's called the heel in the theater of wrestling, and the good guy would be the face, but he is the bad guy.
All right, so the bad guy, and his shtick is that he's a progressive liberal. For you, the radio listener, he wears a shirt that is covered with a montage of Hillary Clinton's face. And I want to play for you some of what he says.
Corn-fed and cornbread. I'm going to take care of all these people in Appalachian, Kentucky. Okay? That's how you pronounce it, Nathan Little. You people need to be reprogrammed. You continually vote against your own interests. You put people in Congress, in the White House, that aren't going to help you. They're not going to bring your jobs back. So let me tell you what the progressive liberal Daniel Richards is going to do.
All right, now, again, this is not a politician. This is a young wrestler.
We're going to reprogram you. We're going to re-educate you. We're going to teach you to read and write. We're going to help you get jobs with clean energy.
Newest Appalachian
No,
Mountain.
it's Appalachian. Let me ask you something. Do you live in a holler?
Yeah.
No. You live in a hollow. Say it with me. Hollow.
Hollow.
Very good. Let me tell you something else. You live near a creek, not a kirk. Okay? Smart people also say mom and dad, or mother and father, not mommy and daddy, when they're 36 years old.
Is a match.
All right, so it is really, he condescends. and again, it's not a real politician. It is a wrestler.
I am talking about the progressive liberal Daniel Richards.
Excuse me, Nathan. That's the problem. Is all you Appalachian East Kentucky Hilljacks take what I say is controversial. See, you can't handle the truth. So you want to mislabel what I say instead of calling it like it is, the truth. You want to call it controversial. Well, as each win builds on the progressive liberals' record, you're going to know my message to be the truth. And I can't wait for that moment, man, when I get my first convert to my progressive ways.
So he has put forward that he thinks by winning wrestling matches he will convert people to become progressive liberals. The video here is like 30 minutes long. I'm probably going to have to watch this entire thing.
I think it's a brilliant character.
It is.
Look, in the age of the 80s with the Iron Sheik and the Mad Russian, this is just where we are today and who the heel is in American wrestling.
They've got it going on in Kentucky, the progressive liberal. All right, there's more to come. We have actual news for you, and then more Uncle Henry Show.
This is a Bloomberg Market Minute. It's the food industry's favorite tactic for coping with sluggish sales, cost cutting. And now General Mills is using it. The packaged food giant, dealing with slumps in its yogurt business, expanded its operating profit margin last quarter by cutting expenses as it copes with an industry-wide sales slowdown. Maersk has shut down systems across its operations to contain that cyber attack against its computer network as it was assessing the full impact. The company said its Maersk Line vessels were maneuverable, able to communicate, and that its crews were safe, while terminals were impacted at a number of ports. Fed Chair Janet Yellen, Vice Chair Stanley Fischer, and San Francisco Fed President John Williams are all starting to acknowledge that valuations in stock prices and other asset markets have jumped in recent weeks. Rising asset prices could introduce the element of financial stability into the mix, strengthening the argument to keep raising interest rates. Stock futures are a little changed to mix this morning. S&P futures are up 4 points. The NASDAQ futures have steadied. Gina Cervetti, Bloomberg Radio.
Loans are made by WebBank. Funds are deposited for delivery next business day if approved by 4:30 p.m. Central Time, Monday through Friday. Amazon is not a part of this promotion. Rates and terms vary based on credit history. Other restrictions apply. See website for details.
Do you know that some Americans have more credit card debt than savings? Don't you wish that there was an easy way to consolidate debt and save? With a fixed interest rate loan through Avant, that wish can come true. Through Avant, you can bundle all those bills and simplify your debt into one monthly payment, saving you time and money. Over 500,000 customers have experienced the convenience of a personal loan through Avant. It's all online with no prepayment fees and no collateral required. And you can have $1,000 to $35,000 in as little as one business day. No wonder Avant has an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. And now Avant will also give you a $50 Amazon.com gift card after your first payment is made on time. To check your rates with no impact to your credit score and to get this special radio offer, go to Avant.com today and enter promo code 7676 when applying. That's AVANT.com, promo code 7676.
710 Time Saver Traffic from the Main Street Flooring and Design Traffic Center.
We have an accident spot on Highway 29 and Old Kimstrand Road in Pensacola. That one's been on the board for a while. In Mobile, Leroy Stevens Road remains closed between Watercourt and Carrington Drive for upgrades to the roadway. That project is expected to run through early fall. Non-local traffic is being detoured through the area using Dawes Road. With Time Saver Traffic, I'm Ray Romero.
Gulf Coast weather from Local 15 and the Kemco Metal Buildings Weather Center.
Happy Wednesday morning. We've got a quiet start with some showers and temperatures in the 70s. Later on today, we'll go for a high of 86. Not much sunshine, and storms are back in the forecast. Expect a 60% chance of storms into the afternoon with a high in the middle 80s. I'm meteorologist Jake Dunn for Local 15 News and this iHeart Radio station.
Swindling a senior citizen. Good morning. I'm Local 15's Darwin Singleton with your iHeartRadio News Update. A local woman's accused of stealing more than $300,000 from a 90-year-old man. The Mobile County Sheriff's Office says Loyola McCants met the man on a popular senior citizens dating site. Investigators claim McCants convinced him to move from Maine to Mobile and over the course of a month stole $310,000 from him. Officials say McCants did the same thing to an elderly man last year, but he passed away and no one knew anything about that crime until this investigation. An arrest has been made in the bold daylight slaying of a man at a gas station in Mobile. 25-year-old Willie Lewis is in jail this morning, charged with the man's death. That shooting happened Monday morning in the parking lot of the Texaco on Moffett Road near I-65. We're still waiting on police to identify the victim. A debate in Pensacola has gone national. This after a federal judge ruled that the cross at Bayview Park in Pensacola is unconstitutional and should come down. Organizers gathered at the park on Tuesday to fight the removal of that cross. They call the cross a community treasure. An online petition to save the cross has more than 13,000 signatures. News breaks while you sleep, so when you wake, we'll catch you up on what's happening along the Gulf Coast and around the world every weekday morning on Local 15 Today. We start at 5 a.m. I'm Local 15's Darwin Singleton for this iHeartRadio station.
Fox News Radio, I'm Chris Foster. A vote delay means more time to tweak the Republican health care plan with too much party opposition to pass it now.
Senator Rand Paul.
We keep too many of the Obamacare regulations.
Other Republicans are worried about rolling back Medicaid expansion. It's Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell's job to work out a deal.
We're continuing to talk about it. It's a very complicated subject.
President Trump says Obamacare is melting down and remains hopeful about the prospects for the Senate bill.
Fox's Rachel Sutherland. The maker of Oreo and Nabisco, the drug maker Merck, and a Pennsylvania healthcare company all hit by a cyber attack.
Many companies affected appear to have ties with Ukraine, where the Prime Minister has called it an unprecedented attack. The virus wipes or encrypts data. It then demands a ransom of $300 in Bitcoin. The attack resembling one last month that hit almost 250,000 computers worldwide.
Fox's Alistair Wanklin. Fox News. We report, decide.
Uncle Henry here with my real estate agent, Sandy Frost of Roberts Brothers. If you want to sell or need to sell your house, get together with Sandy Frost. Now, Sandy, don't your listings sell faster than the average listings?
Yes. My listings sell in an average of 60 days, and the average time in the multiple listing system is about 120 days.
Now, how do you manage that? How do your listings sell that much faster?
The condition of the house is right, it's priced right, and it's marketed to the buyers that are most likely going to want that property.
Sandy ends up selling 97% of all her listings, and at a price that's about 3% more than what the average agent gets. She does all of it with a 32-step home marketing plan that she's developed after years of experience. Call Sandy Frost at 251-604-6514 or look her up online at sandyfrost.com.
Mercedes-Benz is a call like no other. We're offering leasing specials to fit any budget, only at Mercedes-Benz of Mobile. If you thought you couldn't afford a Mercedes, think again. Mercedes-Benz of Mobile has your lifestyle and budget in mind. Come and visit our showroom on Dolphin Street or go to mbmobile.com for details. When I say affordable, I really mean it. Only at Mercedes-Benz of Mobile.
There's never a good time for a power outage. A storm can leave you without power for days. But with a Generac home standby generator from Baldwin Heating and Air, you can be prepared when a storm hits. Right now, select new Generac home standby generators from Baldwin Heating and Air come with a free 10-year warranty. And Baldwin Heat and Air services and installs Generac generators with our certified technicians. So we're here if you ever need us. Control your power, control your life with a Generac generator from Baldwin Heat and Air. Call 251-626-1159. That's 626-1159. Or visit baldwinhvac.com. Alabama license number 99108.
The folks at Mobile Bay Harley want to see you on a Harley Davidson. They're so serious that they're offering a $1,000 gift card with the purchase of any pre-owned Harley. That's right, they're willing to pay you to ride one home. Catch Bike Nights on Thursday the 22nd and every other Thursday following as you join them for free food, drinks, and live entertainment. Stop in on any Saturday in June and enjoy a free barbecue and a brew as you take a look around the showroom. So what are you waiting for? Come by Mobile Bay Harley where there's always a party.
Your home for traffic and weather on the 9s every morning. This is News Radio 710 WNTM.
Uncle Henry Show. Thank you for listening to the Uncle Henry Show here on News Radio 710 WNTM 99.5 FM. The Jag coming up. The Daily Reagan in about 15 minutes. After that, a new edition of Dear Ariel. Here with Johnny Gwynn of JohnnyGwynn.com. In the last segment of the show, we had some of the audio from the progressive liberal wrestler out of Kentucky. This is something that Scotty White of ScottyWhite.com was sending out to friends and family, and I appreciate very much Scotty White for sharing that. I don't know why the progressive liberal wrestler just strikes me as the perfect entertainment for our time. Let me go to the email inbox. Subject line on the email is Roll Tide Unk. Email reads, Happy Hump Day. Speaking of Oakman, Alabama, ex-wife number 2 is from there. Love the wrestler stuff, LOL. And that email from 60-year-old Chris and West Loxley. And earlier we were talking about the steakhouse in Oakman, the Bull something?
Bullpen. The
Bullpen in Oakman, Alabama, that AL.com rated as one of the top steakhouses in the state of Alabama. It's seeing that video and listening to the progressive liberal wrestler. How many imitators do you think are going to pop up now that this has gotten out to the country?
You know, I don't know how many minor league wrestling worlds are out there anymore, but I would imagine that would be a character that could easily replicate it across the country.
Yeah, because there used to be Gorgeous Georges all over the place.
Iron Sheik, you know, and the Mad Russian. There's tons of Russians, by the way. In the 80s, I went and looked up best evil Russian wrestlers, and there was like 50 of them.
So this could spread, but you're right. It's hard to say how many of these minor league pro wrestling outfits there are around
Trump
the country.
Has a wrestling pedigree. He was on WWF.
Vince McMahon, yes. So there may I would be curious about how many are out there. The smaller wrestling organizations. I would have never dreamed that there was this Kentucky
Appalachian League or whatever
wrestling going on.
Yeah.
But I guess now with video being so inexpensive to produce,
sure,
that if you want to do it online, it doesn't cost that much. You could
Facebook Live, YouTube, a couple cameras, and a decent internet connection, and guess what? You've got your own TV station. Just got to get audience watching it.
That is really something. All right. Well, I will be spending some more time in my off time. I'm going to be taking some time off next week to celebrate Independence Day. I will be watching some more of the progressive liberal wrestler in Kentucky. That's just I get a lot of stress release from that, and it makes me want to go see. It makes me want to go see local wrestling. We have traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the 9s, and then right back, more Uncle Henry Show.
Time Saver Traffic from the Dean McCrary Volkswagen Traffic Center.
Well, it has been a pretty quiet drive throughout the region this morning. We just haven't seen any particularly big accidents. A couple of relatively minor ones, none of which caused trouble for long. We're traveling I-10 crossing the Bayway this morning. I-65 from Pritchard and Chickasaw to the I-10 still moving well. Shell Belt Road remains closed in Bayou La Battery between Barnett Road and Kennedy Road. That's expected to run through the middle of July. With Time Saver Traffic, I'm Ray Romero.
This report is brought to you by the T.J. Martell Foundation.
Hey everybody, I'm Eric Church, asking you to join me in the fight against leukemia, cancer, and AIDS through the T.J. Martell Foundation. Your support helps facilitate cutting-edge research that will lead to more effective treatments and save more lives. Visit tjmartell.org to learn about music's promise for a cure.
Gulf Coast weather from Local 15 and the Southern Cancer Center. Weather Center.
Good morning. It's shaping up to be a wet Wednesday, not necessarily before noon, but during the afternoon. There is a high chance of showers and storms, mostly cloudy. Today's high 86. A few showers will linger into tonight as we fall down to 72. Storms are likely on Thursday with a high in the low 80s. I'm Jake Dunn for Local 15 News and this iHeart radio station.
This report is brought to you by Unbound. Around the world,
There are young people who face a difficult decision, continue their dream of education, or drop out to help support their families. In a single moment, you can help them write a new story. See potential, not poverty, at unbound.org.
Traffic updates every 10 minutes on the 9s every morning. This is the Uncle Henry Show on News Radio 710 WNTM.
Uncle Henry Show, thank you for listening to the Uncle Henry Show. You can also watch on the News Radio 710 WNTM Facebook page. We do have video. Johnny Gwynn is here, johnnygwynn.com. Angelo of MobileBayCoins.com is on the phone. Angelo, we were playing some audio from a wrestler in Kentucky that his character is that he's the progressive liberal wrestler. Now, were you ever, as a child... Now, when you were a child, you were not allowed to watch television because your parents wanted you to be as bright as possible. So were you ever exposed to wrestling?
Just, later on in life, get on to college and things like that. When I was dating in high school, go over to a friend's house or maybe pick up a girlfriend, and wrestling was really big back in the 80s and whatnot. But since I wasn't into it at the inception, it didn't really catch my attention. It looked to me like overdone acting. And, of course, when you tell some of the diehard fans that, you might as well just be crucified.
Well, and maybe that's part of the appeal of the progressive liberal wrestler, because he's condescending toward the fans, just like you did.
Condescending. I like that, Uncle Henry.
Well, look.
I will say that.
I would imagine that somebody, now imagine Angelo, he's raised in the wilderness with no television and reads voraciously. He's reading books as a small child that I would find challenging as an adult. So I would imagine that with your intellectual firepower, that the first time you saw wrestling, you would have thought, what is wrong with humanity? That humanity is watching this.
And that is a really good point, Uncle Henry. I saw that and did not really see anything that was that entertaining about the entire event. I looked at that and just sort of shook my head and moved on. And the people that were really passionate about it and really believing some of those things, they weren't gaining points in my book at that point.
Well, I tell you what, if there were famous wrestler silver bullion, it would sell like hotcakes. You wouldn't be able to keep them in there.
The Roddy Piper silver round.
Oh my goodness, they'd sell out.
Oh my Lord. Now, the only one I can honestly really remember is Hulk Hogan, because he was big for so long, but he was able to transition that a little better into more of a career, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, yes, indeed. Well, don't forget The Rock.
Oh, yeah.
That is true.
How about The Rock?
Yeah, he's done a great job transitioning from that into mainstream.
He may be our president at some point. Now, Angelo, yesterday you were telling us that you were almost sold out of the Great White Whale round, the highly detailed silver piece. It's gorgeous. Do you still have any left?
I think I've got one or two of those left, but if somebody's been putting it off or wanted me to set one back for them and they hadn't gotten around to coming by the shop, they may want to come by and pick it up, because I can only hold things, sort of stashed back for so long before we have to get them out and sell them. So if you've been thinking about picking up one of those or any of these other cool items we have here at the shop, stop putting it off. Just come on by and say hey.
And you mentioned the Krugerrands. You still have those?
I have one of those left right now. So, yeah, last of those. I'm probably not going to be ordering any more of those. So that's pretty much it at this point, unless I buy some back. Did pick up a bunch of small gold coins the other day. So if anybody's looking for a 10th-ounce Canadian Maple Leafs or maybe even a $2.50 American gold coin, we have a lot of those in stock right now, though.
Great. Angelo, have a great day.
You too, gentlemen.
Mobile Bay Coins, 2204 Government Street in Midtown Mobile. MobileBayCoins.com. The Daily Reagan is next.
You've heard the news.
It's a new generation of missiles.
You know the story.
All options are on the table.
Now it's time to share your opinion.
We have a very serious issue in the world right now called North Korea.
News Radio 710, WNTM.
This is Uncle Henry here with Virginia McNeil of McNeil Aaron's Lambert Financial Group. Virginia, when should people start planning for retirement?
Well, Uncle Henry, you've heard the old adage, it's never too late. Well, when it comes to retirement planning, that adage doesn't hold true. In fact, we like to say it's never too early. It's hard for young people to be disciplined and start putting away money that they won't see again for another 40 years. But it's important to have a roadmap to retirement, even if you're only in your 20s and 30s. At McNeil Aaron's and Lambert Financial Group, we have been helping people of all ages for over 90 years, creating their roadmaps to successful retirement.
Yes, for over 90 years, the professionals at McNeil Aaron's and Lambert have been helping their clients with their personal estate and retirement planning. Give them a call at 666-5000. That's 666-5000, or visit the website malfinancial.com. Ed and Virginia are investment advisor representatives with AE Wealth Management. Investment advisory services offered through AE Wealth Management, which is an SEC-registered investment advisor.
They stream across our borders illegally. Criminals, including gang members, rapists, even murderers, committing crimes over and over again, even striking right here in Alabama. Senator Luther Strange is fighting back. As Alabama's Attorney General, Strange sued to block Barack Obama's plan to reward illegals with amnesty and won. Now Senator Luther Strange has a plan to help President Donald Trump keep our communities safe by building the wall to protect our borders. Luther Strange's Senate Bill 1126 would take federal funds away from sanctuary cities that coddle illegals and use those funds to help build the wall to protect our neighborhoods and keep criminals out. Call Senator Luther Strange at 205-731-1500 and tell him to keep working to pass S1126, the Securing the Border and Protecting Our Communities Act. Keep fighting to build President Trump's wall and keep Alabama safe. Paid for by One Nation, onenationamerica.org.
President Donald Trump pledged to build a wall to keep America safe.
The wall's going to get built, and the wall is going to stop drugs, and it's going to stop a lot of people from coming in that shouldn't be here.
But liberals are fighting Trump every step of the way, even creating sanctuary cities where police are prohibited from turning over illegal immigrants. Alabama's Senator Luther Strange is working to build Trump's wall and keep us safe. Strange introduced Senate Bill 1126, the Securing the Border and Protecting Our Communities Act. Senator Strange's bill will take federal funds away from sanctuary cities that defy our immigration laws and use that money to build the wall. Call Senator Luther Strange at 205-731-1500 and tell him to keep working to pass S1126. Tell him to keep fighting to build President Trump's wall and keep Alabama safe. Paid for by One Nation, onenationamerica.org.
It's here. iHeartRadio lets you play any song right now. Need to hear your favorite new song? Do it. Need to hear the song that reminds you of that thing? You know, the thing from the summer of 2010?
How do you know about that thing?
Just play it. iHeartRadio gives you the best live radio and your music in one place. So upgrade now and play exactly what you want to hear. iHeartRadio free, iHeartRadio Plus, and iHeartRadio All Access powered by Napster. Go to iHeartRadio.com now to upgrade.
710 Time Saver Traffic from the Main Street Flooring and Design Traffic Center.
Well, it has been a pretty quiet drive throughout the region this morning. We just haven't seen any particularly big accidents. A couple of relatively minor ones, none of which caused trouble for long. We're traveling I-10 crossing the Bayway this morning. I-65 from Pritchard and Chickasaw to the I-10 still moving well. Shell Belt Road remains closed in Beulah Battery between Barnett Road and Kennedy Road. That's expected to run through the middle of July. With Time Saver Traffic, I'm Ray Romero.
This report is brought to you by Compassion International. The future is bleak for a child living in poverty. No school, no dreams, no hope. But you can change all that when you become a Compassion Child sponsor. Just a little more than $1 a day brings hope. Find out how at compassion.com/radio.
Gulf Coast weather from Local 15 and the Kemco Metal Buildings Weather Center.
Well, good Wednesday morning, everyone. Here we go again. The recent run of dry weather has been nice, but it's over. We have a 60% chance of showers and storms today with a high of 86. Storms will tone down tonight. 72 is the low. More rain is headed our way on Thursday. I'm meteorologist Jake Dunn for Local 15 News and this iHeartRadio station.
News? Check. Traffic and weather? Check. Opinions? Check. This is the Uncle Henry Show, only on News Radio 710 WNTM.
We've arrived at the Daily Reagan here on News Radio 710 WNTM. The Daily Reagan, a presentation of SAD Healthcare, SAAD, sadhealthcare.com. Here is the president.
We must realize that the economic crisis confronting America is not the result of a natural disaster or a catastrophe beyond our control. Inflation, unemployment, all of it was basically caused by decisions that we as a people made. Now the only power needed to restore America's strength is willpower. You may have heard a rumor to the effect that I've submitted a program to Congress, a 4-part program which will get this country moving in the right direction again, I believe, increase the standard of living for our people, and cut the inflation and unemployment rates. First, I've asked for a substantial reduction in the growth of federal expenditures. Second, I've asked for a significant reduction in federal tax rates. And third, I've asked for the prudent elimination of excessive regulation. Fourth, while recognizing the independence of the institution, I have pledged to work with the Federal Reserve Board to develop a monetary policy which is consistent with those policies. Let me refer back to the second of those points and just add this one fact. All of us must accept the fact, which has been proven in this century, proven here in our own country several times, that a reduction in federal tax rates does not necessarily result in a reduction in tax revenues. The economy expands, it reduces the burden for the individual, but the overall share goes up as the base of the economy is broadened.
The Daily Reagan, a presentation of SAD Healthcare, sadhealthcare.com. Uncle Henry Show. Thank you for listening to the Uncle Henry Show. Today's the day that the local newspaper is thrown at buildings all over Lower Alabama. They threw it at our building, and I did bring it in and have the Dear Abby column. That means a new edition of Dear Ariel. By the way, Johnny Gwynn is here of johnnygwynn.com. So, a couple of interesting letters to Ariel today. Ariel, are you ready to compare your answers to those of Abby?
Absolutely.
Okay, here we go. Dear Ariel, I recently had to spend a night in the hospital following minor surgery. One of the female techs taking care of me leaned over me to straighten out the bedding, and I could see everything when the top of her scrubs fell open. I'm not sure if it was on purpose or by accident. I say this because after the first time, it happened several more times. I only looked the first time out of shock. The other times I looked away. Other than saying, hey, lady, I can see your chest when you bend over, what's the polite way? What's the polite way, Ariel?
There doesn't have to be a polite way.
To say, oops, wardrobe malfunction. And that is from Got an Eyeful in Illinois.
First of all, you don't sound like you're very displeased by it. Come on, man. Come on. You looked the other couple of times. But there isn't a polite way to say it. Just say it. It's that simple. Ma'am, I can see all your stuff. Pull your shirt up. I say it to people all the time.
Okay, your answer is different. Your answer is different from Abby's. Abby wants the guy to rat this person out to the boss.
What?
Wow. Abby says, since with luck you won't have to make another visit to the hospital, I think your question may be moot. However, the discreet way to deal with something like that would be to mention what happened to the head nurse or supervisor and say that it made you uncomfortable.
Oh, Abby. You don't tell on people to their boss. I mean, unless they were like just a complete jerk.
Okay. All right, well, let's slip in another letter, a real fast one.
Okay.
Dear Ariel, I'm in my early 30s, recently met a very attractive woman my age. We're planning to get married. She wants us to be married as soon as possible because she's been divorced for the last 7 years. My problem is, Ariel, She's extremely secretive about her past, especially the period between her divorce and our meeting. I've been open with her about my past, but when I ask her about hers, she refuses to discuss it and says it has nothing to do with our relationship. I have a feeling there may be something nasty she's hiding. I'm afraid I'm heading into a trap, but my love for her makes it tough to consider breaking up. Am I being too demanding? And that is from concerned guy in the South.
Mind your own business, sir. Like, unless somebody is going to show up at your house dressed in all black and throw you in the back of a van, she has every right to keep her business to herself. It was before you. If it won't affect you, mind your own business. And now if this continues to be a problem, then just don't marry her. It's that simple. These are simple solutions.
Simple solution. Now, Abby's answer is very different.
Obviously.
Abby says, if your intuition is screaming that your girlfriend's desire for a hasty marriage could spell trouble in your future, you should pay close attention to it. It's not too demanding to want to know what one's fiancé has been doing the last 7 years. Under no circumstances should you marry this woman without first talking to a lawyer.
Oh, dear.
Who I am sure will suggest doing a background check and or drafting an ironclad prenuptial agreement. So Abby says, lawyer up.
Abby doesn't know things about boys. They don't have intuition. That's for women. I'm just saying.
For big dumb animals.
Right?
All right. Well, thank you, Ariel. Thank you for another edition of Dear Ariel on the Uncle Henry Show. I'm so glad, Johnny Gwynn, I'm so glad that I never have to write Abby. That's just not something that I'm in a situation where I don't have to write.
Do you think they're real? Think those aren't loaded?
Loaded? When Ariel and I started doing this months ago, that was a discussion we had because I wonder if they're real. I wonder if they're old from back, because this is the daughter of Abby that's doing the column. The original Abby is long gone from our planet. And it makes me wonder if they keep a file that they just reuse them every 5 to 10 years.
Did they ever prove there was an Abby, or is it a team of contributing writers?
Well, there was an Abby and an Ann Landers because they used to be.
Ann Landers. I definitely I've seen her on I think Dick Cavett or something, or one of those shows from the 70s.
After I YouTube the progressive liberal wrestler, I may YouTube Abby and Ann Landers just to see if there are any interviews with them. All right, out of time. Thank you for listening. Johnny Gwynn of JohnnyGwynn.com. Thank you.
Thank you so much for letting me be on the show today, Uncle Henry.